Entertainment. Welcome back to another Carter slap.
God, ew. That was disgusting.
You're disgusting. You know what else is disgusting? My fucking
Your
earbuds. He's so crunchy. Not crunchy.
What's going on? Crunchy? No. Crusty.
Crusty. You sound crust. You're a bit crust. I mean, that's what you are. Okay, Carter tier list. There is a full screen on this. Caden's right.
Yeah, there is.
Let's go ahead and do it.
You go ahead and scroll.
It's already full screen.
No,
no, different.
Even fuller. Presentation
mode.
Yeah.
Ransom.
There we go. Oh. There we go.
Nice.
Ransom.
Okay.
You and your stupid self get an ad blocker.
I have one.
Then engage it.
Why were there ads?
That's a fantastic question. The power did go out last night and my computer did a full reboot, so I might just need to re-engage it.
It went out like really
Carter, is that Sonic Advance? No, that's Sonic Rush?
Yeah.
Let's not look at the list.
Oh god, I've worked so hard on
Carter, and Casey, and me and Ransom. Today we're doing Carter favorite games tier list.
Much like how we did... So who did we do? We did me, Casey, and Rob so far, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is easily going to be the second most important one.
Me being the first.
No,
yeah,
being
Casey
the
being
first.
the
Me
first.
literally being peak. Yeah. I literally
How are
it
you
up.
peak?
Because my games were better than yours,
He's self-centered. He can't
Your
not
games
be
suck.
peak.
My game.
Your
Casey,
games
you
had no personality.
That.
Yours had no personality.
Listen to this man fucking lie.
Am I right?
Why is MGS
Stop looking!
5 there?
Stop looking!
I can't not look. Okay,
yes, you can.
Fine, we'll go in order. What's that first one?
Okay.
Dwarf Fortress?
Yes.
You just played that.
Yes. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really good.
I haven't fucking touched it. I have no idea what the game's like.
Dwarf Fortress is so much fun. It is like basically a little ant farm where you build the house for your ants and they just go and they
at the mic.
They do fun things.
You sounded fine, you fuckhead.
Fuck you. I didn't want him looking at me with this little.
Let him be cute.
You're just mad because you had the
cute.
Wonder Bread tier list.
This is the first time Caden and Carter have met in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're getting along amicably.
Mm-hmm. So, Dwarf Fortress, it was kind of the very first, not the very first, but it kind of popularized the whole, colony builder subgenre, and what's great is that, your little people don't really act like humans, they act like dwarfs, so they're very weird, and they'll just, mess things up in really, really funny ways. I'm still, learning it, but I'm having a great time with it.
Is this something we should do a video on at some point or something?
No.
Okay, got it.
It takes a really long time.
I just looked at the center of the list.
Shut up. Stop looking.
Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in
Stop looking!
A or A- tier.
Just look at me. Just look at me.
Oh my god, he has some wild pics now!
Yep. Yes, I do.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I think I'll put it in A-
Everything's gonna be okay.
because it's very complicated, and as you all know,
Way to not personalize the names of your tiers, by the way. Everyone else did that.
I have a very small brain, so I'm gonna have to put it in A-.
You did put Don't Judge Me. You did do that.
Yeah. That's for some special cases.
Alright, let's go ahead and talk about an actual game. Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus.
That's easy S tier in my opinion.
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I think it is almost perfect.
Now look, if you put it in A, I understand.
It is going in A specifically for the fact that I think
yummy inputs. We're using a wireless keyboard and mouse right now, and it's really far away from the computer.
Yeah,
so it eats a fuck ton of inputs.
So I love the exploration in the game so much that.
Let Caden talk.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
No.
I didn't hear
go,
you.
go.
Sorry.
No, you go.
You can go.
I was just gonna say that normally the keyboard and mouse goes to my thing, but we're using it for this video since we're all kind of sharing a mic. It's like a little weird setup situation.
Yeah,
It works.
Like, maybe if I like scoot up a little bit.
No, the thing is plugged into the back of the computer.
Yeah.
There's
It's actually
nothing
it's very responsive right here.
oh, okay.
Um,
Ooh, Katana Zero.
so,
Stop looking.
I need to.
It's the next game. I Shut thought we up. were moving on.
No, I didn't
No.
get to discuss Shadow of the
Yeah,
Colossus
This
yet.
is
because
Carter's
he's
list. Let him announce
Yeah.
it.
You're
So-
Shut the fuck up.
if I were to
go fuck
respect,
yourself up your fat fucking ass.
if I were to respect anyone's list, it would be Carter's.
Okay.
And you've
shut up.
yet
Except
spent
Shadow the
entire-
Hedgehog.
Shut up.
Okay,
I
so
love you.
my one problem with Shadow of the Colossus is like, I like the exploration of the game, even though there's like not really anything to get, or like you don't get any real rewards from it. I love like just the scenery, the way the world is constructed, thinking about what this place was, what the stories here have been, and just seeing, just the vibes that kind of exist in it. And sometimes I like to hop off the horse and just, take a little stroll around as Wanderer, walking around. Which, unfortunately, the game doesn't want me to do, because every time I do that, the horse just comes ramming into me at full speed, screaming, and thus, completely taking me out of the experience.
So, to rephrase what you just said, the horse rams you at full speed and takes you out.
Kenneth Pinion?
Yes.
Is
I
that
knew
you?
you'd say it. Hell yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I said,
Kenneth
Casey.
Pinion? Mr. Hands?
I
Enum Cole
personally,
Washington?
I personally don't
You
think.
never heard the case?
Oh, you don't know about
Horse
Kenneth
sex case?
Kenyon? He's the guy that died.
Let me. Okay, so Kenneth Pinion is a Boeing engineer who worked for NASA.
Mm-hmm.
Went up to Enumclaw, Washington every year on his little summer trip to go visit his favorite stallion. Right? He loved getting fucked by this horse. And one year, or he was trying to ramp his way up to fucking the horse or something. One year he was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring my homies. We're gonna record this. I'm gonna fuck this horse. Right? So he buckles the fuck up for the ride of a lifetime, and he dies by a matter of horse sex.
Fantastic.
It ruptured his intestines.
It sure did.
Caden,
And you can find this video.
Thank
and watch
you.
it.
when we were starting this recording, I was just like, you know what? I really want to hear a story about a man dying from horse sex. That's just just you
I really encapsulated
you
that
saw a
dream.
void in my heart that existed,
Your god hole.
and you just
I
you got
filled
the
it
exact right
with,
piece
With
to-
horsecock.
Yes, you did. You really did.
need to stop looking at this list, bro.
Yeah. Just look at me. Everything's gonna be
All right.
okay.
So, Katana Zero. Oh, yeah. Shadow of the Colossus, still amazing game. Almost perfect.
Stop looking
Casey
at
and
the
I
list.
can both attest to the quality of Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in my S-, actually.
So, moving on to Katana Zero.
S. If you don't put that,
I think
shit
this
in your
is
S.
also an almost perfect game. I like it more than Hotline Miami.
He can have different
As you
opinions
should.
than you, Ransom.
What are you gonna put in S?
Just the only thing is that the game it doesn't necessarily feel complete to me, and I don't know what it would have to be to get a full S rank, and I might put it up in S later when we're doing reorganizing, but for now I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. I think the story is wonderful. I love the way it's told. I love the dialogue system. I love that it actually delivers on that improvised rampage that Hotline Miami kind of promises you, but
And 2 definitely doesn't allow.
does not allow at all. But, I think that Katana Zero is just wonderful. Alright.
The reasons you have given so far for not putting these games in S are ridiculous to me so far. I just want to say that.
Well, no, because Shadow of the Colossus is a
But
very
it's-
exploration-heavy game, and thus things that take me out of the exploration are going to annoy me much more.
There.
You're supposed to explore on the horse, though.
Okay,
But
let
it lets
him
me
roll.
get off the horse.
Let him roll.
Yes.
But to
I
So this is your rank-
do. Y'all go ahead.
This is
no, Casey, go ahead.
I wish there was more to Shadow,
I
There's-
disagree. I think the
like,
emptiness serves it.
I think that
No, not in the world itself. Like more weapons and stuff.
I guess.
I still disagree. The
Yeah.
only thing I would want more of are colossi.
Yeah. Like,
Well, that yes.
yeah, for me, like, Shadow of the Colossus is probably, like, one of the... I think it's
tight.
It's the game that best understands, like, the concept of, like, negative space.
I
And
feel
it's
like that you could put in discoverable weapons without ruining the whole vibe of the game.
Casey, there are unlockable weapons in the game. They just all function pretty similarly.
My problem with, like, putting unlockables into the environment would be, like, that then runs the risk of making you disappointed if you explore somewhere and there's nothing there. Like,
I don't want to explore Shadow of the Colossus to get something. I want to explore it to just look at the world, you know?
yeah. Like, I think...
just wish there was something else.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. It's just, like, I guess that comes down to personal opinion in the end.
Yeah.
So
So
the
what
next
is this
game?
cat game?
Oh, this is one
This
shot?
is one shot. I think it's amazing.
Yes, I really, really like it too. Sorry.
That's fine.
So, like,
I never played it.
I love all of these little, like, RPG Maker adventure
Can you
games.
pass me my water? I'm sorry. It's the white one.
But just something about, like, one-shot script doesn't, like, stick in my mind quite as much as the other games. And while I love exploring that world and meeting those characters, I do recognize that, like, there's just not as much there, and the gameplay isn't, like, as kind of, I don't know if varied is the right word, but just, like...
Diverse.
diverse. I still think it's a really, really fun game, and it's definitely, like, worth checking out, especially if you, like, can get it on PC, where the, like, unique parts of the game really, like, shine through on that platform.
I apologize if y'all can hear the dishwasher, by the way.
No one can hear the dishwasher.
I don't know, bro. This mic is something.
This mic is something.
It is something.
We have this sensitivity up,
So,
like, very high.
Is this Pokemon Black and White, or just specifically White for some reason?
No,
Oh my
Ransom,
god,
it
that's
is neither.
Soul Silver. That's Soul Silver.
Yeah, that's Soul Silver.
Yeah, I agree.
Ransom's default racist.
Look at it, it's white!
Alright.
Uh-huh.
But,
So,
no, yeah, I agree. That's
Okay.
one of the best Pokemon games.
yeah.
Whoa, okay, I was gonna say, like, I don't know about all that.
He's perusing. Let. Is this your terrorist? Raise up.
This is why we make these videos,
Yeah.
to debate.
We want to argue.
We want
Good.
to argue. We want to have sunny arguments.
So yeah, I really, really like...
Oh, I just saw milk.
Yep. I really like this Pokemon game. It's still probably my favorite. But just, like... I don't know.
Health bars.
I think this catching legendaries, I think this has, like, something to do with just more Pokemon itself than the specific game. There's just, like, some little... Trying to, like, get a certain evolution on some Pokemon can get annoying. And, like, I felt like there were some balance issues in the second continent.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Dude, Gen 2 is, like, one of the worst balanced
Yeah.
Pokemon games. Like, you're at endgame, and wild Pokemon are still, like, level 30 and 40. Like, it's rough. Or 20, even. Like, it's not... Because I remember, like, playing this game at the ripe age of owning a DS at the appropriate time, you know? And, like, before Elite Four, just genuinely grinding for hours and hours to get to an appropriate level, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't use the words ripe age and grinding.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Kate.
Josh
I agree.
will probably watch this. I don't need him. Yeah, you're right. So what's that next? Dark Souls? What is that?
This is Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl.
Oh.
It is a, like, kinda open world first person shooter survival horror-ish game where
What is it called?
Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl.
Can I ask something?
Mhm.
Do you just get to explore nuclear waste Chernobyl in
Uh
this game?
That's like the end. This is actually the first Strand type game.
Oh my god.
This
This
game,
was 2007.
yes, it is very, very Eurojank, and you basically play as like a stalker, which is a like treasure hunter in this place called the Zone, which has all these like weird anomalies happen, and you spend a lot of the time basically just completing tasks for people. But what's really cool about this game is that the AI is all like fully simulated, and the game will track the other stalker NPCs as they go and fulfill their own quests. And if you help them out, they can become your friend, and like they'll act like friendly towards you. You can heal them up after a fight. It's really, really cool.
What was this game on?
Oh, is that
PC.
Okay, yeah.
so? What is the besides that last part? What's the big difference between this and Fallout?
This is not like this doesn't pretend to be an RPG.
Got it.
Do you have something to say about Fallout?
I mean, the later Fallouts.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, this is basically just a like kind of open world survival horror shooter. And like there are just some really, really great moments in this game that come out of just me interacting with the mechanics. Like I popped into a zone at one point in the game, and I heard like a little firefight going on in the distance, and I ran over because like, oh, if it's like, you know, one of the people in the faction I'm with, you know, might want to help them out. And so I get there, and the instigators had already fled, and then I noticed on the mini-map where like the dead body was like the green dot, which means that was a unit that I had helped out like earlier in the game, and they had just basically gotten killed in this random firefight. There was nothing I could do about it. And so it's like moments like that kind of hit you really hard in the game, because it really makes you feel like every little NPC you come across has its like own story, and their own like lives that they're living out, and that like they can be like cut short just as fast as yours can.
Is this game on Steam?
Yes.
I
You need a fan patch to play it.
That's fine.
It's-
I might check it out because it sounds cool.
Yeah. I really adore this game. However, so one, the ending is bad. Really, really bad.
Okay.
Like the last hour of the game is basically a shooting gallery, when the rest of the game is very much not that. It kind of just throws all the atmosphere out the window. And this game is actually based off of, more inspired by an old novel called like Roadside Picnic, and then a later film called Stalker, and it changes the backstory of the Zone to something much lamer. So when the mystery is kind of revealed of like what the Zone actually is, I actually don't like the answer. So like this is gonna sit in like A or A- to me. The ending is also not helped by the fact that like it comes right after the best like segment in the entire game, which is basically this like city area where a lot of the units are drawn to, and so all like tons of the people that you've been interacting with throughout the game are kind of crammed into this area where they're all like constantly interacting, and it's so good. I don't know, because I really love this game.
I believe Carter just gave a full review of Stalker.
People need to know about it.
They
It's
need-
a really good game.
I guess they do.
I will put it probably here for now.
Speaking of games people need to know about,
The World Ends With You. This is one of my big childhood games. It's such a wonderful little game. The combat's super unique. Story and characters are really good. Super, super good art style. I will say, I don't know if it's aged quite as well as I had hoped.
it also has a character named Joshua in it, so
Yes,
yeah.
but Joshua, such a good character. I love him. He's great. The game has these like not great segments where you're stopped from accessing areas and are given these like weird side quests. Some of them are pretty fun and they like play on the mechanics in really interesting ways. But sometimes they're a chore, and there are like segments in the game in which you can like have to do this like 2 or 3 times in a row, and it just can grate on you. And I don't think all of the dialogue is aged well, but overall I'd say it's still a really, really solid game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta talk about this. That's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, it's KH2. It's the easiest, second easiest S tier, in this list.
I wonder what the first one is. I have a guess, but...
Oh, you know exactly what it is.
If
KH2,
Bloodborne?
just... what a...
Shut your bitch.
This game is my childhood. Oh, sorry, Casey?
Is this the one that y'all are about to do a Let's Play of?
Correct.
Yes. This game has flaws. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so fun. The story
Most
is
of those flaws are also, they're either completely optional, or they're just a knowledge issue, the game doesn't teach you as well as it should.
Well, I will say, one of the flaws is that the level design isn't as, varied or interactive as KH1, but I think that the fact that, the combat system has been so overhauled, makes that, okay-ish,
Carter, I wanna tell you something that helps put into perspective, how ridiculous Kingdom Hearts 2's combat is. Kingdom Hearts 1 could very well be, if I'm correct, I think it's the first 3D action game with an aerial rave. With an air combo.
Huh.
I can't, because what's before that? Onimusha?
Yeah.
DMC1?
Wait, so
those didn't fucking have it.
This was before DMC3.
Yeah, so Kingdom Hearts 1 very well could have been the very first time people did an air combo in a 3D action game.
And it still has a fantastic air combo.
So to go from that to what is still easily one of the greatest character action RPGs ever, it is a ridiculous jump,
And just...
Yes, it is. We can share a headphone.
It introduces so many great characters. It gives us Roxas.
Story hits hard. Story hits it very hard.
The music is perfect, impeccable.
Graphics haven't aged a day.
Best final boss
aged
of
better.
all time.
I have a hard time disagreeing.
As
a whole, yes. Because I want to say DMC5 Virgil or something, right? But it's that's just the one fight. KH2's final boss is an hour long.
It is an hour long. It has 5 or 6 stages.
Yeah.
It is one of the craziest things I've still seen from a game in terms of scale
and pacing is still unmatched. We all knew Kingdom Hearts 3 wouldn't be able to beat that final boss, and it didn't.
It really didn't.
And you know what? I'm gonna just say that's okay, because you can't beat it. Here's hoping for KH4 to surprise me, but
it dwarfs anything KH1 did in scale.
It's simply going from DMC1 to DMC3. It's just that, we just made everything so much better. You're never gonna want to go back, except for these very specific reasons, such as level design.
Yeah. The cinematic team attacks, the reaction commands being these just super stylish things you can do to the bosses and enemies. Just
reaction commands being so cool and based, by the way, that they gave up and said, "Fuck it, we're bringing them back for Kingdom Hearts 4."
Yep. So excited.
We were wrong to ever take them away from you. You precious, precious boy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Drippy Sora.
What is
Do you ever shut up?
Me?
Yeah,
What?
this is not about you. So either get with it or get out of the fucking way.
I feel bad for not talking. I don't want to just leave
Me and
Connor
Casey
hanging.
are just sitting here like silent.
But it's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay, cool.
It is Kingdom Hearts 2.
You've been ranting this whole time.
You know what?
Ransom thinks he's the main character.
He really does.
He does.
He really does.
We can talk more about Kingdom Hearts 2 in the Let's Play.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely got some shit to say about some of these games though, and you're not gonna stop me though.
All
You're
right.
not gonna stop me.
So moving on then, the most science fiction game of all time, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim.
I've only heard amazing things about this.
This is a Vanillaware title, which means the art is impeccable. Like, the story is really cool. You rotate between 13 different characters, each character kind of having their own, like, subgenre of sci-fi associated with their story. And they're all, like, connected and interwoven. It's really, really cool. The combat, I can only describe as, like, active time strategy. It is like someone took the Final Fantasy, like, ATB and put that on an RTS. And it's really, really interesting. Like, I don't want to spoil much about the game because it is one of those games in which it is very hard to, like, play twice. I'm probably going to put it...
Did James ever play this game?
Yes, James loves this game.
Yeah.
He'll be happy that I put it on the list. I might put it, like, A-, because there are some power gaps in story quality. Some characters have much better stories than others. And I don't know if I like the game as much of a cohesive whole at the end than I kind of enjoyed it in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it quite blends together. If, like, the way it blends together quite got me on the same level as it, like, got other people, because this game is, like, beloved. And also, I kind of wish that the combat would go just a little bit deeper. I really, really loved the combat. But it's like, I feel like by the end of the game, I still felt like it had places to go. But so overall, great game. I just don't know if I, like, it's still one of my favorites. I just don't know if I completely loved it as much as, like, others did. Alright, so next.
Dark Souls.
Dark
1.
Souls. Yeah, Dark Souls. You know,
Little game.
little games.
Little cult classic.
Yeah. So
Not many people played.
I'd say this is the most important game of the 2010s.
I can agree to that. And that's all you have to say.
The first half of that game, first half to first, like, 2/3 of that game, actually S tier.
But
That it is another game that does not have a good ending. It's kind of unfinished. There are parts of that game that look like like, bug testing rooms. You have, like, enemies standing on top of lava and walking on it as if it's, like, solid. It looks really goofy. And just the design of the, like, second half of the game doesn't, like, hit as much. Like, Dark Souls, first half of that game, like, some of the best world design I've ever seen. The way locations kind of mix and interweave, the way you'll, like, see places, and then you'll, like, go to them, and you can see the place where you came from, and you, like, didn't know that was going to happen. You, like, the game constantly surprises you with where the map takes you and how that relates to, you know, the places you have gone, the places you are going. I think the combat has, like, just the right amount of responsiveness. Like, Demon Souls was a little, like, sluggish for me. I didn't quite enjoy it as much. But Dark Souls kind of gives you those, like, first few little, like, additions that really make you feel like you have, like, a lot of control over, like, your character and what it can do in a situation. like the bosses are, absolutely fantastic. The like side quests are pretty memorable, and like the ending, the actual ending is like really, really good. It's just, man, that second half though. But like, yeah, the way this game plays with elevation, the way it has its ups and downs, like kind of physically, also like emotionally matching the character. Like the kind of physical movements your character is doing through the world kind of maps exactly like what you're feeling. Like at that part of the game where you're going down, you're going into the depths, you're going into Blight Town, and you're realizing every time you go further down, it's like, oh, if I have to like get back up, if I have to like go back for something, it's gonna suck. Like it really matches like the player emotion. But then when you finally like do the thing, when you finally ascend and get to Anne Orlando, and you're like, this is it, like that is an almost like unmatched feeling in games.
Carter's so fucking smart, man. He talks so
Something you'll never be.
like
No, Ransom's got a big brain in his skull.
No, he's got a big
just-
head, but he's got a
so
small brain.
You're so spur of the moment, so good at describing why you like these things and shit. I need to go back and listen to my tier list and see if I was doing any of this shit.
You were doing good in your tier list.
Thank you.
Right.
I enjoy Casey's tier list.
You were doing good because you have monkey brain.
Not
Great, just good for you.
So next up is the Summonium Files, and it is done by this writer named Uchikoshi. And his whole thing is that he like makes these games. He did the Zero Escape series, and Zero Escape. Its whole thing is that it had like crazy plot twists, like that kind of played with the medium and like really adjusted the way you saw everything that had come before. And the plot twist kind of just kept getting crazier and crazier as the trilogy went on, to the point where, like, by the third game, those plot twists were kind of just there for, like, surprise and shock value, and, like, weren't actually, like, servicing the story very well. So, after Zero Escape, he made AI the Somnium Files, which, like, has the, like, least crazy plot twists I've seen from him so far. But it's also, like, the best game I think he's made.
Alright.
It is basically, like, kind of a weird sci-fi detective story where you play as... I think I've mentioned this. Instead of a sad dad simulator, this is a disaster father simulator.
Okay.
You are, like, a cringe adult raising a, like, cringe, like, child, and you're both cringe. And it's perfect. Like, these games are kind of neon whitey, and just like everyone's a disaster. And like, I think the way I've heard it described is like in Japanese like comedy, you have kind of the funny man and the straight man, and the dynamic between every single character in this game is that every single character is a funny man that thinks they're the straight man. Everyone is basically like, God, am I the only like normal person in the room? But they're just as crazy. And seeing that kind of reveal happen for everyone is fantastic. Like, I really love it. It's a really funny game. There is some stuff that I'm not a super big fan of, though. Some characters get weird amounts of priority and don't feel like they should be as big of a deal in the plot as they are, and just the way some characters are introduced, you'd think they'd be more important later on, but they're not. That can just partly be the fact that this is a detective story with like red herrings, but it kind of just felt a little off to me. There are also some running gags that I didn't find that funny or entertaining. There is some kind of anime humor. You probably know what I'm talking about. And I think it does drag the game down a little bit, but I'd still say it's like genuinely a great, fun little like narrative adventure game. The main character's up there with like my Dale Coopers, my like lovable, like weird detectives that it's just an archetype I really enjoy. So I'd probably give this an A- as well.
Is this Arkham City?
Yes, this is Arkham City. I'll probably try not stay on this one too long. I just think it's a really, really fun action game. I think that the open world is like kind of just the right size. It's not too big, it's not too small. The side quests are really varied, and they take you through some of like the, I guess, lesser known of the Rogues Gallery. That's really fun. I like when franchises start doing the freak picks, and they kind of do that a bit with City. And
especially in like the side quest stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Fucking Mad Hatter and shit.
Yeah, that's what was going through my head, is the Mad Hatter side quiz. And I just think it's a really good story. It has, Mark Hamill Joker, who I'd still say he's probably my favorite Joker, and does a lot of like exploring between like the relation between the Joker and the Batman, and I always love that like push and pull the two have. I still don't know if I'd say it's like aged amazingly. I don't think it just quite has the heights that the others do. I will probably put it in A- tier as well.
Real quick, I'll say it's probably worth mentioning now, especially. I think it like the Arkham series in general probably has my favorite performance from Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Yeah,
and
rest in
that's
peace.
A lot more worth mentioning nowadays. I don't think there's gonna be a better, like, just like you said, I don't think there's gonna be a better Joker voice than Mark Hamill, and I also don't think there's gonna be a better Batman voice than Kevin Conroy. And yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Casey, did you say something, or did you just?
He just said Batman.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
We're gonna get some Caden thoughts on this one.
Bloodborne?
Yes.
Okay, actually, yeah. Haven't given you a chance to talk in a while, so give me your take on Bloodborne.
I love Bloodborne. I am a big fan.
Okay, yeah. It's really, really good, and I like the focus that it has in comparison to like the Dark Souls games. Like, it's
The
fact.
difference, but yet the similarity.
Yeah, it's like the way that it still plays like Dark Souls, but now they're basically like screaming at you to like, don't be defensive, you gotta be aggressive, you've gotta get in there and be like proactive, or else you'll get overwhelmed really quickly. I thought that was a really, really like fun way to kind of spice up the series.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely
Dark Souls mixed with Devil May Cry.
No.
I don't quite know if I'd say that, because it's like
It's
there's
Dark
not
Souls mixed
I've
with
never seen
Britain.
gameplay.
okay, there's not like
Dark
combos
Souls
in
mixed
it.
with Britain?
Yeah.
It,
The whole game's just Britain Simulator.
yes,
Oh
an
my
average
gosh.
like an average British night. So I don't think that it hits quite the same highs as some of the other games in the series, though, and I think it's like easily the game with like the most forgettable like side quests.
That is fair. It is. The story isn't as strong. It's just pure gameplay.
Yeah,
I had
And I am a more story-based game guy personally. So like,
I didn't know
I do love Bloodborne though. What?
I didn't know Bloodborne had side quests.
It
Yeah.
very much does.
Souls games just aren't the same if there's not some like guy in like hamburger armor asking you to help him find like the great well of like, I don't know.
Poop
Yeah.
cum.
Yeah,
We need those chaos characters, and Bloodborne is too straightforward. With,
Yes.
like, it's too serious.
he needs to find the like great well of Poopington and then like die 5 like feet from it to make you get the feels.
You might love Elden Ring then, because it's fucking silly.
I love, yeah.
Now, if it's too silly, I won't be able to take it seriously, and then I'll stop playing it instantly.
I don't think it has that problem.
All right. So next, another James game, Chaos Child. It
Dude,
is.
he has not shut the fuck up about this game.
James has been like talking about this game nonstop. So this is a visual novel. It's in the same series as Steins Gate. It's really good. I think it has some really interesting things to say about like the way we interact with like social media, disinformation. I think the characters are really, really strong. I just have a problem, and that is that the game is insanely overwritten. This is kind of a problem with... It's a problem I have with like certain visual novel writers where it's just like, this game is like 60 hours long. It didn't need to be. I think this game could have been like 40 to 50. Like, the prose itself is very... It kind of repeats itself a lot. A lot of stuff is said that doesn't really need to be said. I think there are entire scenes that could just be like cut and that don't need to be there. But still, I think it's a really, really fantastic story, very like emotional. I had a really fun moment where you're basically trying to figure out the culprit of the game, and I was like talking with James as I was going through this section, and I successfully guessed the culprit way earlier than the game expected me to, but I didn't feel like robbed when it actually was revealed. I was like just actually like very surprised, but in very hype that like I got it right, because I also thought that would be the most interesting character to be the culprit. So I think overall I'd probably put this in B tier just because of like how much it drags on, and I don't know if everything in there needed to be there. Also, the way routes are decided in both Chaos Child and the previous game Chaos Head, very bad way of like selecting routes. But
What is it?
you basically, at certain points in the game, because of your like psychic powers, you can basically have these like hallucinations, and you'll basically choose whether to have a positive or a negative hallucination in certain scenes, and that will decide the route the story goes on. However, you can't actually tell. Like, there's no reason for a certain delusion causing a certain route. Like, there's no logic to it. It's basically just trial and error. So you have to kind of use a guide, unless you want to spend like 12 hours messing around with every single combination. Alright,
Sexy!
Deltarune.
Fucking love Deltarune.
S tier. I don't care that it's not finished yet.
It's already yes.
It is already one of my favorite stories ever. It has like one of my favorite casts. I love the game to pieces. I love the way that it is like actively developing on Undertale's like story and themes, and its gameplay. Rousey is one of my favorite characters ever, and like the game makes me just feel so many emotions, even in these like little setup stages. Like episode 2 in particular just like hit these very specific feelings that I like feel like a work of fiction hadn't given me in such a long time. Just the way the music and the visuals and the story just kind of come together, and it's just like, I really hope that the game will continue to be as good as like it has been, because I could see this like shooting up to like my favorite game of all time if it continues this well. Like it makes me feel like I'm a kid watching the best Saturday morning cartoon I've ever seen again.
Well, I was gonna say stuff about it, but
Right?
Carter got it.
I need to play Deltarune. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yes, you do.
That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Undertale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. You're gonna love it. You're gonna fucking love it. I guess the only thing I'll add is I can't explain why, but this game was made for bisexuals.
Yes, it was.
I will
Ransom.
not elaborate.
Okay. Dishonored. Anyone else here familiar with Dishonored?
I'm familiar with it. I've never played it.
Never even.
I've
heard of it.
seen it in GameStop.
Okay, it's basically like a...
Congrats.
I love
You have
Casey.
eyes.
It's kind of like a steampunk-ish, like assassination game, stealth game, with some like light parkour elements. You can use like spells to maneuver around. It's really, really fun. I adore the way this game looks. It's got this very like, I think the actual term for the aesthetic is like oil punk, because the big part of the setting is it's not like steam that powers the machines, it is whale oil.
Gotcha.
And so it takes place in this like port city that's really cool. It has like the morality system, which as the morality system where you can choose to like spare people or let them live. And yeah, speaking about that morality system, it's most of the powers you use in that game are for the purpose of killing people. So if you want to do the good route playthrough, you're not good luck with like not using a lot of the game's most fun mechanics. I think it definitely suffers from that like PS3 360 era like mentality of morality systems, where like they're just not very well thought out, I feel. I think it's actually like the morality system was added very late in development, and it really does show. And that isn't even like my biggest problem with the game. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this game because there's no New Game Plus. And so every time you play the game, you unlock like more powers by getting these collectibles in the level. But every time you restart the game, you have to like go and find those collectibles again to use those abilities you want. And I just wish the game would let me like start again or select a level with the powers that I've already unlocked at the end of my game, so I can like test things out and like tackle the levels in like new creative and different ways, add more replayability. But sadly, like you can't do that without mods. So, but it's still a ton of fun. Love the world, love like the stealth, the combat. The story is okay. Like I don't care too much for the characters, but I find them secondary to just like the setting.
What game is this?
Okay, so this is Drakengard 3.
Oh,
Oh, I did hear the dishwasher. Did it just cut off?
No.
no.
It might have like just come through. So Ransom, you know about Drakengard 3, right?
I'm aware.
You're aware of the game.
Yeah.
So many people would let me get the mouse in the right place. Many people would feel compelled to put this in the "Don't Judge Me" section, Ransom. But there's something else to consider, Ransom.
Yeah.
That's that I am not a fucking coward.
Based.
Drakengard 3 is a game about nasty women doing terrible things, and I love it.
Ransom is the most cringe person.
What?
You just said based. You said based. That's a Twitter comment. You're so stupid.
He is based.
Oh my god, shut
Like,
up.
He's based and nasty pilled.
Your main character
What
in
does
the
that mean?
You don't want to know.
We'll tell you when you're older, Casey.
Okay.
But it's like, yeah, in this game you play as basically like a sociopath who is like objectively a bad person, but like the characters and the cast are just so endearing, and it's like a really great, I don't know, I love the cast of this game because it is kind of like that thing I like in fiction of like even like bad people have like people that they love and people that they feel a connection with. And just because someone might like, you know, do lots of terrible things, that doesn't necessarily mean that like they don't still have those connections with other people. And I like works of fiction that kind of explore that and like kind of poke at that dissonance. And like, you know, Yoko Taro games usually have like very kind of morally ambiguous characters, and like this one is well, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But I love the cast. It's so much fun to watch these characters just like bounce off each other, berate each other, but still like, you know, kind of care about each other in the end. And like the combat, you know, isn't the greatest. It's serviceable, but I still find the game like a very worthwhile experience. And the music is out of the park. The theme for the final boss might be one of my favorite like final boss themes of all time. All right, so
Let's
next,
go communism.
Disco Elysium, easiest S tier.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
It is a like detective RPG adventure game where your party is your stats. Your character's mind is broken, and all of like the stats are the like different voices in his head talking to him. And it's so much fun. The writing is incredible. This is probably the best like prose quality that I've seen in a video game. There are so many just beautiful lines in the game. And like the characters, just Harry, Kim, and just like everyone you meet, just it's one of the best experiences I've had with a video game, and every single mechanic fits. What makes this game work is that they started with basically kind of like, you know, a Baldur's Gate, a Dragon Age, a kind of Western RPG, and they took out everything. They took out every mechanic that does not like fit with the story or the player's emotional journey, and they altered all the remaining mechanics to kind of fit perfectly with the story. And I think it's one of like the best designed games ever because of this. I like adore this game to pieces.
Jacob Geller has a good video on the game if you want to know more.
Yeah, it's a really good like kind of description of like what makes the setting fantastic.
Hey, Carter.
Yeah.
Where's Minecraft?
Oh, yeah. It's in your walls.
Why is there a topic on this list? Where's Minecraft?
Don't worry about it, Casey. Don't worry about it.
Ah!
I like to think Casey has his walls lined with copies of Minecraft, like the fucking Titans and the.
Oh, wait, you
Don't worry,
haven't
if
been
if I
there?
ever do a game tier list, Minecraft will be on there.
Yeah. So next.
I'm upset.
I know, it's gonna be okay.
So next is another game that I would consider to have one of like the best stories in games.
It's a really good game.
Night in the Woods. Oh, you've played Night in the Woods?
Oh yes, I have.
Fantastic. So
I love this game's aesthetic.
yeah,
It's so cute.
like I love the game's art style. I think it's a really, really good encapsulation of like our generation's like situation and feeling on things. I don't know, like growing up in like a very rural town, kind of going away and like coming back to it. I get a lot of the same feelings that like the main character has.
I like Skyrim.
Yes, exactly like Skyrim. Like, is it B? Is that how you pronounce the alligator's name? Okay, I'll just say B. B is like a fantastic character. Greg is a fantastic character. And I love just the things it has to say about, like, I guess kind of the like millennial and Gen Z experience. I will say, even though, so I'll probably put this in A because even though I like love the story to pieces, I do think, and I know that the exploration being kind of boring is in service to the fact that the days bleed together for May. She's kind of stuck in place running her wheels. I like, it kind of doesn't work for me 100%. Like, the platforming around the town in between the main story bits is fun, but I do think it kind of gets a little old. You know, going into the same places in the town, talking to the same people, and the exploration, like, not having... I don't know, it just didn't feel like it had too much depth to me, but I do recognize that it is in service of a larger point in the story about May's emotional and mental state and, like, where she is in her life. So, like, I don't knock it too far for that. Alright,
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring, fantastic game. Like, I don't know what much has to be said about it.
It won't cooperate. It really wants you to put that in A.
It's setting you
wants
up
me
here.
to be an A-. So, like, it is just an open world Dark Souls game, and it is fantastic for that. I think it has one of my favorite, like, settings. I think the cast of, like, the main players that you go up against are all, like, super interesting. I think what kind of helps also put it over something like Dark Souls for me is that, like, you're playing as, like, blank slates in these games, so it always feels weird for your character to be, like, deciding the fate of, like, the world. But in Elden Ring, instead, it's more like you're attaching yourself to someone else's cause and fighting for them. And I was able to kind of get myself much more emotionally invested in kind of the big final decisions in this game because of that. Like, I never felt like my character really deserved to decide the fate of the world. You know, like, what right did I have to make these decisions? But in Elden Ring, it's more like, oh, hey, there's this really cool person I've met, and I'm, like, really into the way they view the world. I'm really into, like, what they want to do. I'm going to help them. And I think I kind of just prefer that way. Also, like, very full-featured combat. And very interesting locations.
Has more spells than Turf Game, but we don't gotta talk about that.
Yeah, we don't get to talk about that.
Let's talk about Peak instead.
Okay, FF7R.
R specifically.
So I actually think that, like, the moment you meet... I'd say, like, the moment you meet Aerith to, like, the end of Wall Market, maybe even to the end of, like, the Ghost boss fight, is, like, a full, like, 10 out of 10 for me. I, like, really, really like this game, but I don't know if the entire thing lives up to kind of what that, like, best part is. I think it has some pacing issues. Some of those, like, side quest sections do kind of drag on for a bit. They're not all the most fun. And the fact that the game will lock some, like, rewards you really want behind them, not the greatest. Not the greatest.
I was that first side quest section, like in, like, chapter 4 or whatever it is, had me, like, genuinely worried.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh no. But then that only happens, like, thrice in the entire game. And it is technically optional, but like you said, there's some, like, really nice stuff locked behind completing all that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, and I'm sorry to be talking during your thing. But,
No, you're supposed to talk during my thing.
But, yeah, 7R is, like... I treat it as a litmus test for how stupid a gamer is. Because there's so much misinformation that is so easily disproven about this game. Just, all you have to do is just actually look at it and play it and know that, oh yeah, this is one of the best action RPGs ever.
It really understands the spirit of the original.
Yes.
I think that all to most of, like, the adult additions they make to the characters and through, like, vocalization or new content, I think they're all improvements.
Yeah.
Like, the characters feel like they're supposed to, I think.
I agree. And that makes them feel like one of the most iconic and wonderful casts in any video game.
Absolutely. Like, Aerith and Barrett are just, like, amazing characters.
The two single moms of the game.
Yes. And I am so excited for them to, like... I'm so excited for the remake series to move forward.
Rebirth is probably my most anticipated game right now, honestly. Even more than, like, Tears of the Kingdom, honestly. Because
I was rebirthed one time.
Congratulations.
Love that.
How was
ya.
that, Casey?
It was very wet.
Moist, if you will.
Did you
No,
get wings?
no, specifically wet.
Did you get wings?
Griffith?
Why would I get wings?
Griffith.
Not Griffith.
Kid
Icarus.
Icarus Uprising.
I'm gonna say it again, Casey. Fuck you. Based.
The game that like pushed the 3DS to its like maximum limits,
In
like the
first
year it
of
came
its
out,
life.
which, in hindsight, wasn't the best for the 3DS, because like
That is crazy.
this game took the 3DS to like all the places it could go, and it's really really good.
It really is crazy how the best 3DS game came out the same year the 3DS came out.
Yeah, and like the fact that the dialogue is so good, it's very witty, very funny, and kind of almost that like
Nintendo-like.
yeah, in almost like a Deltarune-ish Undertale way. It's just very funny, like in a way that appeals to like all ages, I guess. Like I feel like you can play this as a kid, have a great time, and then come back to it later as an adult, have like a great time as well. Hades is just an iconic villain, amazing voice work, and the way they got a like third-person shooter to work on the 3DS was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
Carpal tunnel be damned. I never actually had that problem though.
I have.
Yeah, you probably fucking hate playing this game. It gave people a lot of wrist issues.
Yeah, people
I,
had to wear like hand braces after like playing this game.
I will put one final note on Kid Icarus Uprising is just it is the ultimate proof of Sakurai needs to stop making Smash Brothers games completely because
Let the
his
man do
true
what he
love
wants.
lies and shit like this. Because when you let him cook, boy does he cook.
Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boyardee, baby.
Yeah, but it's about money.
Fair.
And that game did not make money.
Really didn't.
It's barely made its money back. It was not that profitable. So milk.
Yeah, milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk, and milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk.
You just count them both.
Yeah, I'm just counting them both. They're really short. This is a hard one because it's hard for me
Like
to.
Ransom.
Yes.
I'm a hard one.
No, short.
It's hard for me to like really to verbalize what I like about these games. I love the vibe. I really like the character that it follows. I think the writing is like very fun. It's very funny, and also like makes you kind of care about this character for like how little how little time you get to spend with her. I just like the aesthetic and vibes are just off the charts.
Very earnest portrayal of mental illness.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak, like, personally to how it portrays, like, specifically the main character's mental illness, but there are definitely some parts in the game that kind of got me. Okay,
What
so
is that?
let's see. Is that... Hold on, let me move.
Yummy inputs.
Yes.
Delicious.
All right. So next we have. Oh, it is
Beyblade.
the best fighting game of all time.
Uh-oh. Is that
Melty Blood.
Melty Blood? Based.
Do I need to see anything other than air footsies?
No.
The game just feels really good. It's very slick. I like how floaty it is. I like the combos feel very easy to kind of go through. I like the variety in the characters. I like that they're all simultaneously dripless and drippy. And it just is probably my favorite feeling fighting game.
Aoko, best girl.
You can think that.
I love Aoko.
Okay, Street Fighter 4. This is the game that
fucking
got me
go.
into fighting games, thanks to Ransom. Like,
Melty Blood over Street Fighter is so funny. I don't even disagree.
like, Street Fighter 4 is still one of my favorite fighting games of all time. I feel like there's so many characters that I can just pick up and play in that game, and I love like the way they all feel and function, and that's kind of rare for me in fighting games. I usually just stick to like one or two, but Street Fighter 4 is one of those where I just have a lot that I can just mess around with, play a few sets with and just have fun.
You're totally right. The amount of characters we both can play in that game is like way bigger than most other games.
Yeah.
Like what in what other game am I pulling out a Blanca equivalent, But I fucking love playing Blanca in Street Fighter 4.
Right.
And you hotspot between Juri, Sakura, Elena. Mostly those three on you.
Yeah.
But like you do play others.
Yeah, like Yun?
Yeah, okay,
Yun.
make that 4.
Okay, yeah. So just there's a reason why fighting games came back in 2009.
And it is that game right there.
All right. Persona 3, FES specifically. Persona, one of my favorite series of RPGs ever.
Yeah, yummy inputs. Yeah.
This is not the best one.
Where's 1 and 2, you fake fan?
The series started at 3. I don't know why they started with 3.
Just like Devil May Cry.
Yeah. So the game's pacing is bad. The game's pacing is really, really bad.
Can't you not control your party members in that game?
That's I actually didn't have as much of a problem with that. Mainly because it was the first one I played, so I didn't know what I was missing. But just months in-game months will happen without major story developments or you really getting to know the characters that much. I still think the cast is really fun and cool. The game's aesthetic and soundtrack are fantastic, but it's you only have one dungeon in the game that just kind of changes aesthetically, and it didn't need to be 80 hours long. But I still think the story is really, really good. The ending is really iconic. I think it has still my favorite social links. I think it has fantastic social links, because unlike the other games, the social links in Persona 3 are all with people that you cannot help. The game's themes kind of being about the inevitability of death and facing the impossible. The game kind of trains you for that theme in the end by having you interact with these characters who have these really bad and sad problems going on. There's this little girl whose parents are getting divorced. There's this one writer who has an illness that he's going to die from soon, and it's you can't help any of these people. All you can really do is just kind of be there for them and talk with them. And I think that's a really interesting way to let the player interact with the characters in the story. And I do kind of prefer it over especially some of the ones in Persona 5, which is just I'm going to magically fix your problems. So
that very much intrigues me.
Yeah. Yeah, just, next time you have 80 hours to spare.
Yeah. But, just the way that you talk about, the tough issues and stuff, I'm as a person with a terminal illness, it's, quite appealing.
Yeah, that a story, will maybe approach it from, a caring perspective, but not sugarcoat
we can
it.
fix you, or,
Right.
just make it sound better than it is.
Yeah.
I started giggling because I was thinking about the fact that Persona went from that to immediately in the next game just going to fucking Scooby-Doo, bro.
Yeah.
It became so unserious by comparison.
Yakuza.
Yeah, the tone was kind of inverted, and it works, but
Persona 4 is great.
yeah, I think that there was a little bit
For
that was
very
lost
different reasons.
in the approach.
Bro, Yakuza 0.
Yakuza 0.
Yakuza... I agree.
It's a really, really fun game. I love the side quests, and the moment to moment is really fun. It's just the story, the main plot line didn't really stick with me all that much. I don't super care about a lot of the characters in that game.
Yeah.
You don't
most
care
definitely.
about fucking shit over a back alley, a
No.
property dispute.
And
No.
like, it does lend, and it's weird because like that, the story being something I don't super care for does still kind of like lend it to one of the game's biggest strengths, which is like its wild tone.
Mhm.
And the fact that like you'll have this like character give you this like super heartbreaking monologue about their like terrible tragic backstory. They've had like the worst life you can imagine. You're like, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to go do this thing for you. You walk outside, you take 2 steps, and this girl is like, oh wow, you are like really scary and have a ponytail and an eye patch. I actually told my parents that I have a boyfriend who looks exactly like you, and I need you to play the role of my boyfriend for my parents. Will you go out on a fake date with me with my parents? Just no separation.
I love Yakuza.
Like the way that you were describing it, Ransom, it reminds me so much of like Italian mobster era.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, you're totally right about that, because like main story of this game in particular,
Mhm.
it's very much that, just Japanese, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is just about the mob.
Japanese rendition of Italian mob.
Right. But then the game's true colors are shown everywhere else in that it's a goofy, fun time.
Yeah.
It's very confusing, and the way that it appears very much like, I don't like the non-linearness. I don't like how there's not a solid story, like one solid like thought process. You know what I mean?
I think you can make it to where there is that, but you're going to be missing a lot if you do that.
Yeah. Well, because it is
I
very
would rather miss shit.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how that like might not be a great approach for you, because like the side quests literally do like interrupt you. You don't get a choice for a lot of them. And to me, that just makes it even funnier. Is that like you're going,
It's humorous, but it takes me aback.
yeah. I can definitely understand that.
I suggest to you both to check out Yakuza 7, which has a much better through line of a real story. And what's the Judgment? Check out Judgment, which is a detective drama, same team and everything. Same thing.
Yeah, I've seen the clips of the second Judgment game.
It can also get silly.
Yeah, in which like you beat up children.
Great. Love that.
I can't wait.
Smack and Charlie.
Yep.
I do actually. I want to give a defense for the whiplash of. Give me a second. I want to give a defense for the whiplash in tone of the Yakuza games.
Oh yeah, because I love the whiplash. That's what I'm there for.
I think seeing Kiryu at his silliest makes it more impactful when he's at his most serious.
Yeah, I think it does a really good job of showing you every side of the main character.
Yes.
Because even though I don't super care for a lot of like the characters in the story, I do really like Kiryu and Majima.
Well, who doesn't love Majima?
Yeah.
Lisa the Painful?
Lisa, the Painful RPG. It's really good. It's a kind of a miserable experience to play. And like the story is kind of threadbare, to be honest, but I think what is there is really, really good. It's probably my favorite of like the sad dad type games, I guess. And every way in which the game is miserable kind of just does a really good job of like putting you into the main character's headspace and what kind of like just horrible like messed up world they're living in. Because it's like there are like zombie-ish type creatures in this game, but they're like maybe 5% of the enemies you fight. It's mostly like other people and just this like weird messed up like landscape.
Kind of Mad Max-ish world.
Yeah, I think that is what I would put it like most towards. It does feel more like a Mad Max type experience, and it's like really, really funny. And if you can find like if you can get a good combination of characters, because it's the kind of game where like you go around and you can recruit a bunch of like different NPCs to your party. If you can find a good combination of NPCs, you can do some really fun stuff with the way they combo. Lots of like hidden mechanics. Like your main character has Ryu powers. He can literally just do like a Hadouken and stuff. Because with that main character, when you press attack, the game has arrow keys pop up. And so you just do a Hadouken, and he does a Hadouken.
Amazing.
Now, there's also another character that is an alcoholic who throws his beer bottles at enemies. So, if I throw a beer bottle at an enemy, they are now doused in alcohol, which means that the fireball that I shoot at them is going to do much more damage. So, it's just a lot of stuff like that. Really fun game. I'd highly recommend it. Alright. Another Yoko Taro game, Nier Automata.
Also a platinum game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, are you still here, Casey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Platinum never loses its luster.
Feel free to cut in if you have anything to say.
I don't know it. Most of these games.
Okay. Same.
Okay.
That's why I'm just like being
Can you pass
silent
me
for
your
most
phone?
of it.
I no longer hear Casey.
Oh no.
Okay.
Give us one moment.
I'm fine with that. I don't want Ransom to hear me.
Fuck you.
Honestly, can we just like remove Ransom from the channel?
Why would you remove the main character from the channel?
Oh my god.
You're
stop.
not the main character.
We need to have a spin-off arc.
You know Caden is probably gonna do that.
What?
A spin-off arc.
What?
Because you're gonna be uploading some shit, you said?
Yeah.
Or you'd like to. I'm
Alright.
not gonna make a promise that...
I want to.
Alright.
Get ready for Gay Rank 2.
Nier Automata.
Better gay rank.
Better Gay Rank.
It's probably Yoko Taro's best playing game. It has some of my favorite Yoko Taro characters. And it was, for like a point, one of my favorite games of all time. I think it plays really well. The story is super emotional. And I think like it's one of the best examples of Yoko Taro's specific writing style, where he starts with this like kind of single emotional image, and he kind of writes the rest of the story leading into that image. And those moments are always super impactful for the game. And in this game, it's like, it's not even like the climax. That's the part that everyone freaks out over. Like, it's such a good story. My only thing is I have a few gripes with the game's second half. I think it doesn't develop its stuff as much as the first half, but I think it is still very solidly an A rank game.
It is really throwing your shit around.
It really is. Okay.
I have a favor to ask.
Mhm.
As least spoilery as possible on this. I intend to play it soon.
Amori?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Amori, really, really good. Probably one of my favorite of the Mother likes. I'd say it slots in like nicely just under Undertale and Deltarune. Combat system is really good. And I think the RPG mechanics are kind of like simplified down nicely, and they all kind of match the characterization and the story, and I really, really like it. My only thing is that there is one small, I don't know, maybe not small, but like there's one thing with the game's final act that I have very conflicted feelings over, and I still haven't really sorted through, and I don't know if it was the direction I would have taken with the story.
I can't wait to discuss that with you.
Yeah, no, that'd be a nice future like video idea. So yeah, overall, also the game has a massive amount of content. Like, it's like 30 hours long, which is
ridiculous.
It's giant for something like this. And like lots of the characters in this story are also very peak. Okay.
Outer Wilds
Outer
is
Wilds.
so fucking cool.
This is a really easy... Wait, when did...
It got thrown around.
Okay.
That's what I was
Oh my
saying.
God.
That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah. Outer Wilds. I'll try and be very spoiler-free on this as well, because, yeah, 13 Sentinels is hard to play a second time, Outer Wilds just can't be played a second time.
Not with, yeah.
Your unlocks are 100% knowledge. So like, it is a fully simulated mini solar system that is all like just kind of like this puzzle you're trying to solve, and all of the mini puzzles are like so interesting and fun, and the way the game kind of sends you around the solar system at your own pace, discovering things and putting the like all the pieces together. It is like it's a feeling no other game has really given me.
I feel like a lot of open world games truly wish they could make me feel the things I felt that Outer Wilds did.
Yeah. Like,
just discovery and wonder is stupidly off the charts with this game.
Absolutely.
I don't think you have to explain this one. It's
Yeah.
Persona 5.
This is Persona 5, specifically the base game. I'm gonna just go ahead and put this in A tier.
Rather than Royal?
I've never played Royal.
Oh, okay.
I don't have like 100 hours right now for a game that I haven't like.
Hey, same.
For a game that I have already played. So it's like I have a few problems with the writing in the game. I don't think that the cast is quite as good as P4. I do think that it's overall maybe the most like balanced of the games. Like it has really good like aesthetic, really good like main story.
The vibe.
Yeah, the vibe is just like it puts the most effort towards the aesthetic that almost any game has like ever done. The combat is like stupidly fun. And while I wouldn't say it's my favorite Persona cast, they're still really good.
I want to add, like, your point, so much effort towards the aesthetic. Like, that, he's not kidding, that is everything. Like, even the UI design, like, press the pause button and you will see what we're talking about as the main character slaps the menu screen onto your television.
I think when I came over and let you try it, I think you like just screamed when that happened.
Yeah. Like I pressed start just during gameplay to pause, and that happened, and I came and fell out of my chair.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's the little things, man. They really make a difference.
Alright, so next is Portal 2. Classic game. I'd put this in S tier. Writing is just really funny. Puzzles are super good. I think it's a really fun, concise experience that develops from the first game in fun ways and doesn't like overstay its welcome. GLaDOS and Wheatley, iconic characters for a reason. And it's like a game that I can just always come back to.
Casey, have you ever played the Portal games?
I've played 2. I think I played 1, but I don't quite remember.
Are you fine with Portal 2 and S tier?
Oh yeah, I love Portal 2.
Alright.
Alright.
You just have like most Souls games on here.
I think like all of them except for Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2, which I have not played. I'm not, I'm not the like that one like Dark Souls fan who like always hates on DS2.
Do you have 3 on here? I'm not seeing it.
Oh yeah, no, actually 3 isn't on here. I'm not. 3 is good. I just don't like it as much as the others.
Alright, fair enough.
Sekiro. I think this might be my favorite one. Cause you get a grappling hook and do parry samurai moves. It's like, the focus of Bloodborne?
Mm-hmm.
Focus it even more down to like a razor thin edge.
Ooh.
And that's where you get Sekiro. Like, it is a game all about like the parry, and it feels so good for that. It also brings back the verticality of Dark Souls 1, where you're like, going up. You're like climbing a castle to save this one person, then later you're like descending down further and further and further into just like the worst parts of your worlds to like search for these things. And it's like it really did capture a lot of like what made the world of like Dark Souls like magical to me in a like feudal Japanese setting. And I like the way that it also ties in like Buddhist and like Shinto like myths to like for its enemies and its settings. I think that's, I don't know, I really like when games kind of pull from that.
Carter, when you beat Hi-Fi Rush, can you talk to me about the parry in it?
Sure.
Because I think it's probably one of the better, if not best, implementations of a parry in an action game.
All right, definitely.
Just because rhythm. Okay.
Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Let's hold up here. This is the first game on the list. You need to just stop it. You need to justify this to me. You need to justify its existence.
Well, Ransom, you see, I see no hear no evil. Black
Black
writing
writing's
on the wall.
Unleash a million faces. And one by one they fall.
Okay, so, you know, being honest, like, yeah, it's a don't judge me. This game is not that good.
Neither but
Like,
oh, a bathroom break.
alright.
You know what?
I can try and speed things up if
No,
you want me
you're
to.
good, but just keep. Okay. No, what? Why is Shadow here?
you see where it is.
Good. I know it was gonna be there, but why is it on your list at all?
Because it's a really, like, I don't know. Ransom, I don't know. It's not me. The game is just here. It made me put it there.
The game has captured you.
Shadow talked to me and said, put me on your list.
Shadow the Hedgehog is in your walls.
He's in my walls.
He already stole money from your wallet to purchase tickets to Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah. Like, it's just something about the game just clicks for me in a weird way.
How do
It's
you
just
feel about
so
that?
stupid, like butt rock aesthetic.
How do you feel about the edgy Jack games?
The what?
Like Jack 2 and 3. Jack and Daxter.
I've only played a little bit of Jack 2 and I'm not a fan of it. But that's more because I like the approach that Jack 1 had to its world, and we'll talk about Jack 1 later.
Is it on here?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Jack 1 is here. It is in, like, next to Doom.
Alright,
I like Jack 3.
I've heard that it kind of, like, brought things together a good bit cleaner.
I don't play for story. I just like to play it.
I'm in between, but I'm closer to Casey, actually. I like to play my video games.
But yeah, I don't know. Something about the edge in Shadow the Hedgehog just kind of gets me. It's just fun.
It's funny. Here's my thing. If Shadow the Hedgehog was a fun game to play, I'd 100% be with you here. I don't think it's an enjoyable game to play.
Well, I mean, you know, you can just be wrong.
Y'all are never gonna let this shit go.
Okay.
We should wait for Caden.
Yeah.
How you doing, Casey?
Don't talk to me.
You know what, man? Fuck you.
You would. Disgusting.
Nah,
Yeah.
you ain't pretty
Whoever-
enough for me.
I am the prettiest in the group.
I got hot.
True.
Caden ran in like
He heard your voice.
he did a run.
I did indeed run.
There was no arm movement in that run.
No, there was no
I
arm.
do need one.
Caden lost his arms.
His head
Oh,
was
no.
swaying back and forth.
Caden is just a worm now.
Hmm?
Caden, if you
how
were
will
a
we ever
worm,
tell
I'd
you
still
two
love
apart
you.
then?
I said if you were a worm,
Well-
I would still love you.
Thank
Ransom is a Jewish worm, and Caden is an Asian Latino worm.
you. Yes.
Oh,
Is
what?
oh god damn. How loud are your headphones, Carter?
What do you mean?
I could hear Casey so clearly out of your headphones.
It's just regular, I guess.
Casey, speak?
Your mom is stupid.
Speak?
No, I'm not a dog. Fuck you.
Is it coming out of the phone?
I can't.
Unlock it. Okay, speak, Casey.
Stop telling me to speak.
We were experiencing technical
We couldn't hear you,
difficulties.
Casey. We had to actually, like,
Casey,
yeah.
woof.
Yes.
Bark for me.
Don't do it. You know
Bark.
I'll do it. No,
Come on,
don't.
bark.
Bark.
Come on,
Be a good
Casey.
boy.
Ain't you ever been to sea
Be a
before?
good boy.
Bark for
Bark,
me,
says
won't you?
I. Carter, you can plug your phone in. There's a charger, like, to your right.
Oh.
Bark, bitch.
Where's the... Oh, is it
I'm not
this?
gonna bark for you. I'll bark for
No.
Carter.
Ooh,
Hey, Casey.
will you bark for me?
Bark for me, won't you?
God damn it. Stop being seductive.
Would you bark for me, Casey?
Did it cut out?
Can you please
Is it
call?
not?
Can you please call him the R word, bro? Can you do that for me?
You ready?
Yeah.
Casey, you're a fucking retard. Alright.
Thank you.
I did what I was told, okay?
Good boy.
Don't be
You're
mean to
such a
him.
good boy, Casey.
Such a good
Give me a
boy,
treat.
Casey.
Stop patronizing me.
I'll
Give me a
only
treat.
give you a treat if you keep being
Casey,
a good boy.
here's your treat, Casey.
Oh, it's so wet! Oh my god! How did you do that? That was horrible.
He really said, let me make some
That
mouth
was
sounds.
right in my
real quick."
ear. Jesus. Casey, that
My
came
mic was-
through beautifully. Just
It
want
really
you to know.
did. It really
My mic
did.
was turned down, so I'm surprised.
Okay, Persona 4.
Alright, Persona 4.
Do you mean JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, the video game adaptation?
Yes, exactly. This is my
Oh my
favorite Persona
God.
game.
I'm saying the same thing, Casey.
It's not like... It doesn't have the best gameplay or the best dungeons, but I think its characters are just by and far the best. I got like 7 hours into Persona 4 and was like, I know these characters better than the cast of P3, like, already.
I know these characters better than the people I know in real life.
True.
Yosuke's homophobic.
Well, but, you know, that might be a little bit of, you know, repression, you know?
And that
Look
really
up-
hits home for Ransom.
But, yeah, just one of my favorite casts ever. Very, very lovable characters. Alright, Sly 2 Band of Thieves. This is also, like, one of my, like, childhood games.
Which is why Carter loves to sneak around and stay from spotlights.
Yes, I do that all the time, and when I sneak around, you know, my feet even make the boom 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 noise that, you know, Slice does. I'd say this game is comparable to P5 in terms of the effort it puts into the aesthetic. Every single thing in the game is like wants to make you feel like, you know, a gentleman like Phantom Thief, and I love it for that. The characters are really fun and enjoyable, and while it's not like the gameplay isn't as like complex as most of the other like mascot platformers of the era, I think it's just the way those mechanics all kind of converge in a really nice way.
But you can't fuck the fox, so it has to go in F tier.
True though.
Sly 3.
Sly 3. People like to rag on Sly 3. I think it's just as good. It adds in a lot more characters to control, and it's a very different story from the first two games. Instead of like a big MacGuffin hunt, it's more like a traditional heist story, where most of the actual plot is like the gathering of like the party, basically. So like each chapter in that game, instead of, you know, oh, I'm hunting down this thing, it's like I'm trying to get this other person recruited onto the team. And so you get a lot of fun gameplay variety, and it works very well with the overall emotional narrative, which is kind of more about like Sly kind of naturally realizing that it's not much, like, it's not just about him. He kind of comes to value the team as a whole more, and that's reflected really nicely in the gameplay. Some people don't like that it's like not as much of a pure like stealth platformer anymore, but I think it fits what it's trying to do very nicely.
Serves the themes.
Yes, and I think the way the game ends is just really nice and has all the characters in a great place. And, I'm glad that they didn't make a fourth one.
Oh my god, I just looked this game up. I've actually played this.
Give us the phone again. Oh, he fixed it.
Yeah, sorry?
Say again, Casey.
I've actually played that game. I just looked it up. It's like a repressed memory.
Do you have like traumatic? Do you have traumatic memories about Sly Cooper, Casey?
Sly Cooper snuck out of the TV and took Casey's socks.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, so the next game is kind of one that's like kind of special to me. It's Tales of Grace's F. And
no idea what this is.
It's basically just a JRPG in like the Tales of series. The series is really fun because instead of like turn-based combat, it's kind of like Smash, where it's on like a 2D axis and you have like normal moves and then your special attacks are kind of like the Smash attacks. And I feel like this game kind of like fulfilled a similar place to me as like I think like No More Heroes kind of did for you, where it's like we'd kind of come into a point where like we weren't really finding games that like we really liked as much anymore, like it felt like
that was more DMC for me.
Okay, yeah, right, DMC. I guess I got the two switched around, but it's like it had been a long time since I'd played a game that like I really enjoyed, and I just kind of wondered if the industry was interested in like producing anything that like really spoke to me. And this was one that really did speak to me. It kind of like got me much more into JRPGs. And I really enjoyed it. However, like overall, I would still put it in B tier. It has kind of a lot of like, it is kind of tropey in its characterizations, and not all of the dialogue is aged super well. I don't know if the combat system is my favorite anymore. I still think it's a really fun package overall, and it is just a nice, fun JRPG adventure.
So what is this?
This is another Tales of game, Tales of Xillia. It's the one that came after.
I don't think anyone in the real world actually played Tales of games.
Yeah.
I thought they were fake games made up by Twitter.
Yeah, I actually have been lying about this game the entire time. It actually doesn't exist. And so I'd put this... I think this is better than Tales of Grace's F. I'd still put it in the B tier. I think it has... I actually really like the characters in this game. Much more memorable. Actually, yeah, think about it. I'm going to move it up to A-.
Real quick, just to be clear, is this list ordered?
No.
No, okay.
I'm not doing that with this many.
Yeah, that's fucked.
I think it has better characters. I really like the dynamic that it has. And it's a really fun example of like this thing I like in stories where basically like it has a lot of false endings. It has like 3 or 4 different points where you get to it and it's like, oh man, this has been a really cool story. I guess it's about to end, but hey, this is a really fun climax to end on. And then it just keeps going. And each like direction the story keeps going in is like, I'd say even more interesting like than the last. And I think the kind of conflict it ends on is really like interesting and like fun to think about. All right. So time for the actual best fighting game of all time.
Oh shit, what
Mine, and also absolutely Ransom's favorite. This is Toho Hisoten Soku.
Why did you not actually put that on your fucking tier list?
I did. I love this game. It's so much fun.
It's fun, but like, goddamn, bro. Yo, this is the one where you play as chibi lollies.
And it's a fighting game with a weather system.
It is a fighting game with a weather system.
Very simple. Like, combat's really simple, but it's more about like the craziness that all the different systems kind of have bouncing off of each other. I would really put it in like A- tier. I think it's still tons of fun.
Oh, you're wild for that one. You know what you're not wild for though?
Ultra Kill.
This next one, Jesus Christ, Ultra Kill fucking rocks.
Ultra Kill's so much fun.
Better than Doom.
Ultra Kill, you can punch your shotgun shells. Like, just
You're sure you don't want to put that in S? Like,
I just don't. I've only played Act 1 and I'm waiting for Act 3, and I'm just not quite as sure of it as I am of Deltarune.
alright, fair enough. I
Yeah,
guess.
so it could very easily become an S rank one day. It's just like the way that game feels is like almost perfect. I love it.
Undertale.
Oh my god, we
Undertale.
got a Kaden game.
Gotta salute
Oh
a
my
real one, but I
God.
still think Deltarune's better.
Undertale might be, I would say, I think it has the most like economical script of like any game ever. Like when you look at the amount of time spent with each character, it's not that like much. But like you get such a good picture of them.
I have such a strong relationship with Undyne, and I hardly know her. You know?
Yeah, like you know these characters
Mhm.
when you're done like talking with them, and it's like
The
it's
character building is phenomenal.
yes,
I want to fuck the skeleton.
everyone
one?
does.
Yes. Either one would be fine, honestly, to be perfectly honest.
I want to fuck Undyne personally. I want to fuck Megatron.
Which version?
Yes.
All right, okay. I feel like if there's a game that like people would get mad at me for putting on this list, it's this one.
What is that?
This is XCOM Chimera Squad,
Oh, who's gonna get mad? XCOM's
Not-
cool.
but it's not XCOM 1 and it's not XCOM 2.
Oh my fucking god.
So like I'm putting this in the don't judge me tier because like I can't even really, I don't have enough knowledge in strategy games to say if it's like that much better, but like I like the way that instead of like you do all your 2 units and that's a turn and the enemy does all the units, that's a turn, it's instead initiative order, and so it's all based around like messing up the initiative order. Your unit special abilities will usually be like knocking an enemy further down the initiative order or making them skip a turn, and it's like I like the way the game lets you manipulate that stuff. It's also like a bit easier because XCOM 2 was a lot when I played it, and it has a really fun mechanic called breaching, which is like at the start of every fight you breach a door and you can place your units in specific places near the door, and you get this like really cool little cinematic shootout as like all of the enemies are taking their places.
Alright.
All right, Breath of the Wild.
That was the last time I felt magic in a video game.
Absolutely magical experience
That can't.
when you're in the overworld.
Yeah. Here's hoping Tears of the Kingdom fixes its problems, but
Just do Elden Ring dungeons.
and make the menu design better.
Like,
And don't get rid of weapon durability.
yeah, weapon durability is great.
And cannot remove it from the system like people think you can.
Yeah.
Another litmus test of how stupid a gamer is. But
yeah, like I think that like the 2 main things keeping it down for me are dungeons being not great except for the last one. And
if Hyrule Castle can be the template, god damn, bro, that'd be incredible.
yeah, absolutely. And also I feel a mismatch between like what the story wants me to care about and what I'm doing in the moment-to-moment gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
The whole story is kind of revolving around Zelda and her failures and her trying to kind of overcome these like circumstances, yet like that has nothing to do with what I'm doing as the player. I felt like it would have been more interesting if like you played as Zelda instead and you're kind of building yourself up back from the bottom.
Or put more focus on Link's failures.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like almost not a revenge story necessarily, but like a Link's got to get his groove back. But I'm gonna take a guess and say Tears of the Kingdom is gonna have a more full story.
Yeah, because there are characters actually present.
That and I've been looking at a lot of theory videos and stuff about from the fucking cryptic ass trailers we've gotten. But it looks like they might be leaning into the whole this is the end of the timeline thing. Which if they do, that'd be really fucking sick.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
But Breath of the Wild was like it was a real moment in gaming where it just kind of knocked every Ubisoft game on its ass. It was like, you can actually do an open world and have it be fun, right?
Right. Like, you can make the act of traversal interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And that game
Also,
will always have a special place in my heart for that.
Also, shout out to sound design in that game. Like, jeez. Link's little pitter-patter and the rustling of his arrows and his quiver and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just very relaxing. Perfect podcast game.
Yeah.
But that's enough about a slow, relaxing... Let's talk about...
So Kirby.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro. Superstar Ultra is so good.
It's like... I've played, I guess, a few more of the longer Kirby games, and, like, I don't know, I feel like Kirby is best in, like, these, like, concentrated bursts.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that, like, each game is, like, it keeps enough of the formula, but, like, feels distinct enough to just, like, give you that rush. And, like, in the escalation between all the different games, I think this game is almost perfect. It is just so much fun to play, and it's easily my favorite Kirby game.
Specifically Ultra, that is, by the
Yeah.
way. The extra content really brings it together.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Because that's going to be a whole thing. I personally prefer Robobot, but, like, I'm never going to begrudge anyone for saying Superstar Ultra is their favorite. Okay, Carter, let me explain.
358 Days?
So Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2 is the bad Nintendo DS Kingdom Hearts game. And its only redeeming factor is its story.
Which is why it's going in B. It is in B
Because its
almost
story
purely on the
fucking
merits of the
rocks.
story. Shion is probably my favorite character in Kingdom Hearts.
Fair.
Plenty
of Axel too.
Basically, almost everyone else in the organization is also my favorite character. And it's a game about the organization. And, like, I would almost even say, like, you can just, like, read the manga with this game.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say something. King K, you know that YouTuber?
Yeah.
He made a wonderful video about this game that really goes into how, wow, the gameplay really is boring and trudging and feels like I'm just doing a job. That really puts me in the shoes of Roxas, huh? So, the gameplay being shit somehow works for the game's story. Like, it's weird.
Born to shit, forced to wipe.
Exactly. I said that to Kane the other day.
And I told him to kill himself.
He did do that.
Alright.
Peak.
Wonderful 101.
Best platinum game.
Probably my favorite, like, platinum gameplay. Oh yeah, because that is the thing that I did forget to mention with Nier Automata. Nier Automata kind of lacks, like, identity in its, like, combat specifically, because it's kind of just you get every platinum move, and the enemies can't really do anything in response. The enemies have trouble engaging with you, whereas Wonderful 101, I think, very, like, well navigates that problem.
I think 101 is the most well-balanced platinum game.
Yeah, it's much more of a, like, lock and key type gameplay, which, like, the enemies are all kind of like these puzzles that you have, like, solutions for, and it's about, like, prioritizing the enemies and prioritizing, like, which solutions you can do fastest without putting yourself in, like, as much danger, and not getting overwhelmed. I think that's just a really, really fun, like, way of doing the game.
However, it also doesn't really take away combo expression.
Yeah.
Because once you do put the key in the lock, then you get to fuck them up however you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really cool. So Kingdom Hearts 1.
Kingdom Hearts 1. Fantastic game.
My favorite Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Go watch the recap, go watch the Let's Play.
Yeah. I don't... I like the feeling of exploration the game has.
I wouldn't blame you for putting it in A-.
I
Like
just-
Breath of the Wild's in there, bro.
Yeah.
It's fine. You got plenty of bangers in there.
Yeah, I am being
And
pretty harsh with this.
It also, but like, I feel like the difference between 1 and 2 is that drastic.
Yeah. It is, like, so good. Just, you know, I think there's one thing that is done the best in KH1, and that is that kind of feeling, that lingering, like, feeling, I can't get the right word for it, but, like,
I know exactly.
that
what
feeling
you're
that
talking
you're,
about.
like, searching for something. And that, like, you don't know how far away it is, but you know, like, you're going out to, like, get it. Like, I don't know. Yes, exactly. But it's like that kind of, like, loneliness-ish,
Mhm.
that sort of, like, feeling of being out alone in the world also, I guess. And it feels, like, both kind of magical and dangerous.
There's this certain vibe in that's only in Kingdom Hearts 1 that, like, I really can't fucking get, but it's just
It's that feeling of being in, like, hanging around in, like, Traverse Town, and that music playing, and you looking up at kind of, like, the lights in the city, and, like, the moon in the sky, and that, like, dog howling in the background, like, every now and then, kind of echoing. Like, that feeling, just, it does something for me that, like, I don't know if anything else does.
it also has the best world in the series, that being Hollow Bastion.
Mhm.
Like, I love the world that never was. I love all that good stuff, but like KH1 Hollow Bastion is still yet to be beat, bro. That it is peak.
It is so good. Alright,
Deep
so
Cock.
Deep Rock Galactic. This is a Left 4 Dead-like. It's kind of a roguelike as well, and it's probably my favorite roguelike I've played. It's so fun. I like the way the classes play off each other. I like that it's all about, like, utility and the ways you navigate these randomly generated spaces. It's so much fun. I like the core loop of the game is, like, just addicting, and the way that, like, each character has their own way to dig down and, like, kind of search for the things that you're trying to get to, just, like, makes it really, really fun to play. I still haven't played enough of it to give, like, concrete thoughts on, but I feel very comfortable putting in A-.
Alright.
Okay, Astral Chain.
Platinum game.
Yeah. Like, this could have been one of my favorite games of all time. I can see it. But the story is very, very messy. I think it kind of falls apart after, like, the 2/3 mark. It feels like it's trying to be 2 or 3 games worth of story in one. And also, like, I actually really like the segments in the game where you're kind of walking around, the adventure game like segments where you're, like, solving these problems for people. And the combat segments are really, really fun. I really like the game's combat. However, once per mission, for like 30 minutes to an hour, they pull you into the frame rate dimension, which is kind of this bland, featureless place where the game can run at 60 FPS for combat, but you lose out on, like, the world of the game that I really like and find interesting. I like roaming around and helping people solve their problems, and when I see enemies invade that space, it kind of makes me, like, you know, feel that tension. But then, like, the game drags you into the frame rate dimension, and I'm, like, kind of emotionally checked out, because I'm just doing fights, like, over and over and over again, you know?
I don't think Casey and Kaden are gonna get this, but it's like, imagine you're playing Devil May Cry, especially something like 5 where you're in the city, then every time a fight starts, you get put in the Bloody Palace. It's like, it's very jarring, and the frame rate dimension never looks different. It's just a red void
Yeah.
with cubes, and it's it's kind of ugly.
And the game wants you to also do exploration.
God damn. If they ever make Astral Chain 2, I hope they can do it on hardware that doesn't need that shit.
Yeah.
Not opposed to Astral Chain 2, by the way.
Right.
That's
It's like probably my favorite concept behind a Platinum game. All right, so speaking about Platinum,
now my favorite concept behind a Platinum game.
Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I'm gonna put this in B. It's a very uneven game.
Very uneven, very unfinished, but I think it's such a great case for if your combat is viscerally, just feels good. It doesn't even need to be that deep.
Yeah,
you know, it just needs to be fun as fuck, and it is.
It's so much fun. And the final boss, like, I don't need to say anything. Everyone watching this video knows, like, everything there is to say about Armstrong.
Sorry about the second half of the long play. It will happen, we just don't know when.
So yeah, like, just... I wish that the rest of the game matched the quality of, like, the best moments.
The first fourth / the final boss. Or I just wish I got a sequel with time. Battlefront 2, huh?
Yeah.
Love Battlefront.
The first Battlefront 2, to be specific.
Yeah.
I have so many memories of playing this game with the boys. It's so much fun. I don't think it actually holds up that well. It's not as well. It's not really that well designed.
I disagree. Actually, I've played it recently, and I think it still feels just fun.
I think it's still fun. I don't know if I would say it's, like, balanced particularly well. The single-player campaign is pretty bad. Like, do you know about how that single-player campaign works?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's there.
Yeah. I will say Galactic Conquest, really, really fun.
God. I'll save this comment for later, but right now we need to get on to Casey's favorite game.
Yeah, Casey?
I'm not talking.
Come on, Casey.
Come on.
Come on.
No.
It's your favorite game.
It's stupid.
You
can't do anything in the game. You don't do anything.
Come on, Casey.
Casey, it's such an immaculate vibe.
Come on.
It's not even that good of a vibe, if I'm gonna be honest. Carter, no. You know it doesn't belong in this.
I am ordering it now.
No. No, Carter. No.
Oh my god.
Casey has died.
Put that shit. He got off. He logged off. Put that shit in B.
Okay. No.
A-?
I'm putting it in A-.
Okay.
I really just don't understand the appeal of the game.
It's cool and creepy.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic. I think Doc, like, plays around, like, he's the writer of the game and the narrative
Adios
designer.
was better, though.
I kind of prefer this to Adios. I'm not gonna lie. I think that he plays around with the walking simulator formula in kind of fun ways. And he, like, and it's a very, like, it's a game that is kind of aware that it's a walking simulator and uses the negative space of a walking simulator, like, to its advantage, rather than it kind of just being there. Like, when you're waiting for an elevator, it is actually, like, kind of capturing that feeling of waiting for an elevator. When you're driving in a car for a super long amount of time, it's, like, actually putting you in that frame of mind, instead of, like, oh, I'm just walking to the next story bit, you know?
I don't, so, like, if you compare this game to the Closing Shift, similar vibes, but the Closing Shift is so much better. You actually do stuff in it.
I think Closing Shift is a lot more normal horror than Paratopic.
Paratopic was boring. There was no gameplay. You didn't have to think. You just walked.
I don't think you're necessarily supposed to think in Paratopic. I think you're more supposed to feel. And I don't know, maybe it was that, you know, you guys were playing it in like a bantery setting with like multiple people.
I don't think there would be any setting where I would be happy with that game.
Well, okay. But yeah, it's just something about
You're
it.
entitled to your wrong opinion.
Something in it
It's
just
not
really
wrong.
hit for me.
I also really like Paratopic.
I just think Closing Shift was more interesting. It had a better story.
I definitely had a better time with Closing Shift. But that was because it was a 4-person Let's Play and it scared us.
Yeah. The baby. Alright. Overwatch.
You have a lot of overlap with Rob. Okay.
I liked it at one point, and then they changed the thing. They changed the things that I like, and now I don't like it anymore. But that time when I liked it, really good. I used to really like playing like Diva, Ana, Pharah, and Orisa, but like just
But I'm already Farah.
yeah, like I didn't.
Not entertaining me.
I just kind of fell out of love with that game.
Can we just take a second and talk about how unfunny Ransom is?
Yeah.
I was
We
doing
really
this. I was
should.
doing the funny song. I'm already Tracer.
What? Oh,
Yeah, I don't think anyone picked up on that.
yeah.
I picked it up.
I'm
I
so-
just
I'm sorry.
didn't laugh
I'm
because
sorry,
it
man.
wasn't funny.
Let's continue.
Okay.
Ransom is ruining the channel.
Yeah.
All right. Next is
I
town.
alone have gotten us many subscribers in this past month.
Oh, boo-hoo. Poor baby.
Get more.
That's because you never play any games with the rest of us.
What?
You never play any games with the rest of us.
I
When's the last
do?
time we played a multiplayer game? Never.
Never at all.
A few days ago, or like I don't know, we played VR
That we
chat and shit.
recorded. I'm saying that we recorded.
Yeah,
Oh.
we recorded Mad Adventures, Casey.
Yeah, Mad Adventures, idiot.
Oh, that game. It was fun, actually, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, you had a good time during that. What the fuck?
All right. So next is Town of Salem. This game is basically just like Mafia on crack.
It's great.
I really prefer this to Among Us.
As you should,
Okay.
honestly.
I like the different roles and how their like rules kind of like mesh together. The way you can get some really like just hilarious interactions, and it's like much more based around like the player chat, and like it gives me this really tense feeling, but it's always like just really fun. Whether I like fail or am able to pull things off. So like, Caden, what's your favorite role?
He said he doesn't know.
I just don't know.
I'm gonna say real quick, Caden, you say you don't play video games, and then, like, all throughout this tier list, you've been like, oh, I love this obscure indie game.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I play video games,
and I-
just not the ones that you talk about.
I play those games too. I'm a very diverse gamer.
Not the ones that you talk about all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't-
Wait,
I don't
we tried to play
DMC,
this
but I
on
have
VR
played
chat.
DMC, you know?
Yeah, that was
So-
like the VR version of this game. It's
Yeah.
usually like a browser game. But yeah, probably my
Ah,
favorite like social
yeah.
deduction game. Next.
I was gonna say it looks a lot like the Realm of the Mad God, but that's because it's a browser game.
Yeah. Alright, so next is Mario Kart 8. Like,
It's the biggest and best Mario Kart. Like, do you need to say more?
what are you gonna do?
Like, what are you gonna say?
It's fun. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Now, okay, I have a question. Do you just mean Ground Zeroes and not Phantom Pain?
Yes, because I have not played
Okay.
Phantom Pain. I have only played Rising and Ground Zeroes.
That is a strange.
And Ground Zeroes is just a really fun stealth game on this like one small dense map with like fun stuff.
Ground Zeroes is better than Phantom Pain.
There's a lot of stuff to discover. The stealth and gunplay is just really fun. I really, really like it. Just as a little thing, and you know, I'd probably still put it in B, but like, it's a fun time.
Dude, looking at that box art, like, that is so of the time of just put the fucking character's CGI dumbass face on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate that trend. Like, look, does Boss even look cool there to you? He looks like an old man who doesn't know where he is.
Yeah,
So-
he's just kind of there.
Oh, near.
This is Nier. I've not played the updated version that came out. I've only played.
Replicant.
Yeah, I've only played like the original Gestalt Nier.
Daddy.
I don't like it quite as much as
Automata.
Automata and Drakengard.
You're moving Shadow.
Oh, putting you back where you belong.
As you should.
He tried to escape. But Kaine and Emil are like top tier characters. I just don't know if Yoko Taro's Yoko Taro isms come off as strong for me in this game as they did in the other two, but it's still a fantastic game. Great characters, and the way it kind of twists its narrative is like really, really interesting and fun to see. Alright.
So
Sonic Adventure 2.
I don't think I mean, you don't have to explain this one.
I don't have to.
It's fine. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's fun. I really like it.
It's a good time. Most of the time.
I'd probably put it in B. It's not like perfect by any means.
But it's fun.
It's very like kind of a loose game.
You gotta explain Heroes though. Like, what the fuck is that, bro?
Heroes? Okay, Heroes is like the first game I ever owned on a PS2.
So it's nostalgia.
It's nostalgia. And the scale of... And there are some of the later levels that have this sense of scale that are just really good. The fact that, like, the final level, you're bouncing between these airships, it's so much fun. And you're, like, blowing them up by homing attacking them. Like, it's not a very good game.
I meant to tell you, by the way, did you know the new SpongeBob game has a homing attack?
It very much does.
It's like a direct ripoff, and it's very weird.
That's pretty funny.
Well, is this Guilty Gear XX?
No, this is Jak and Daxter. The first one.
Cut that.
No, we're keeping that in.
Jak and Daxter 1, huh?
Yeah.
So,
I think this is I think this game has a really great sense of discovery. It was kind of one of the first games to try and do like this. And it might have been the first like mascot platformer where it's like there aren't really. I don't think there's any loading screens in this game.
it was very much of the era of where everyone was trying to get rid of loading screens. This and like Tony Hawk were the like. Yeah.
And so, but it makes the world feel very open and explorable. And though, like, I wouldn't say, like, the story or the characters are necessarily that great, it has a wonderful sense of exploration. Like, there's just this random part where you go out to this, like, island out in, like, the ocean. And it's this big whole, like, explorable thing. And it felt like I was going on this, like, really cool journey. And I think the game really, really, like... I just think the game really soared for that, and I don't know if I've, like, felt as, like, strongly about, like, anything Naughty Dog has, like, come out with since then.
Do you think Daxter is funny?
No.
Me neither.
So, like...
I like the Jak and Daxter series because the girls got midriff.
Oh my god.
Of course.
You like it for that reason.
Alright.
So Doom.
You know nothing
Doom.
but horny.
Doom 2016. Have you still not played Eternal?
I have still not played Eternal.
God damn.
So yeah, this is just... It's Doom 2016. It's really fun. It does a lot in its characterization with a little. The weapons all feel great. I love the upgrades. It just feels so much. It feels like so much fun to play. I think it's a really, really like fantastic game.
It's just a fun ass game.
Yeah.
I personally prefer Eternal. I don't know how Carter would feel, but due to what he said about the enemy design in 101, I think he would also prefer Eternal.
Yeah, I have heard like Eternal does the whole lock and key thing.
Yeah.
Wait.
Carter is having some fun.
I might need to just like sit on the edge of the couch. Alright. So next is Dream Drop Distance.
You need to explain this one.
I like the combat. I think it has like the deck-based combat in a really fun way. I like the flow motion, parkour stuff, and I think the end of the game story is good.
It is my favorite Kingdom Hearts side game.
Yeah, like I didn't know.
Better than Birth by Sleep.
I thought the game was kind of just going to be nothing story-wise, so then like when it becomes something at like
cool.
the 80% mark, it's really fun, and I really like it.
I remember when first playing this game, I thought it was awesome just because it had a normal leveling up system.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like 358 or Coded,
Yeah. And it is really fun for that. I don't know if I'd put it in B or A-.
Where'd you put 358?
I put 358 in B, but I like also kind of consider putting it down on a Don't Judge Me. Like,
if you put it an A, you're putting it in the same category as Kingdom Hearts 1.
I would say at an A-. I think it would be an A- if I had only played it once, but the second time I played it on hard mode kind of make it go down to a B, because those worlds do kind of feel extra empty on that second playthrough. It's a problem with all of the side games, in my opinion, is that the worlds just feel super empty in all of them, except for like the mainline ones.
Is this Fire Emblem Awakening?
Yes, this is Fire Emblem Awakening. This is the one with time babies.
The one that revived the series.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really fun. I really like the characters. It's a B.
This is the reason there's so many fucking sword fighters in Smash.
Yes.
Get even saltier, bitches.
I wasn't a fan of some of the social links that whatever they call
I don't know, bro.
the relationships. Some of them weren't as good as the others for me. I was like pretty disappointed by some of them, but I think overall it's a fun story. It's a really fun like strategy game, and it's a good Fire Emblem to start on if you're looking for one.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead 2.
A classic.
Yeah,
I love that game.
You got some Valve games on here, bro. Where's
Mhm.
Half-Life?
I'm actually not as big of a Half-Life fan.
Fair enough.
They're fine. Yeah, no, one of the best like multiplayer games of all time. It feels so good. Like, I feel like it's really hard to do like actual like mob combat of just like you're fighting like tens if not hundreds of enemies at a time, but like the game pulls it off in such a good way, and the levels are all really, really fun. And there's so much of it too. Like, with the DLC that I think just comes with the game now, it's like, you've got a lot to work through. Great.
Sonic Rush is cool.
Sonic Rush. It's probably my favorite of the Sonic games, I think.
That's fair.
It's, it's simple, it's fun. It has like a very kind of stripped down boost style, but I think it fits the game really, really well.
Can't wait to hear what you think of Frontiers.
Yeah, I plan to get to it soon. All right,
Super
Smash.
Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I'm just gonna have this be like Smash in general.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I really, really like it. I'd put it A-.
It's a great party game.
It is probably one of the best party games. It is just fun to come back to and have people play with. I prefer playing it as a party game nowadays.
Me too. Because when you do play it that way, it's so much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Turn those items on, bro.
Mm-hmm. All right. And this is
World Ends With You, Neo?
Yeah, Neo: The World Ends With You. One of my favorite combat systems of all time. It is a single-player Marvel vs. Capcom 2. in which
Well,
like
all you had to do was say that.
Yeah.
Goddamn, now I'm playing the game.
you're controlling like all of your party members at once, and when you get the timings right for pulling off like, you know, super cool combos and doing like your super attacks at the end of it, like I can only really compare it to like KH2 and how good it feels.
Did you ever play Indivisible?
No.
It was the RPG made by the Skullgirls team.
Right.
I wonder if it's similar to that.
I don't know, maybe. But like just nothing feels as good as like keeping like a psychic shotgun held down in this game and then doing like a combo with like several other of your party members, and then at the end of it when like the charging party member is like finished charging up, you let it go and it just kills the enemy as like this amazing ender. It's so much fun. However, the story, bad, not good.
Damn, that sucks to hear.
Yeah. Like the characters are likable, but it kind of ends up being more of just like kind of going like, hey, did you remember these things from World Ends With You 1? And kind of ends up being like nostalgia baity.
Oh.
The characters like don't have like very clear arcs, unlike the first game, which had like very, very clear character writing. Everyone just kind of waffles around in this game. It also like information is distributed in this game at such a weird pace. It takes characters like several hours longer to arrive at like information that's arrived at in like minutes in the first game. So it's like you spend a lot of the game knowing more than the characters, and so when it's like revealed for them and they're like, whoa, this crazy thing with the world, it's like, I already knew that. Like, why do we have to like hold on to this information for so long? Like, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Carter, you're so real for putting this game on here.
Every Samurai Showdown.
You can even say specifically 7 or even just 5.
It's so good.
Sam's show's so fucking good. You want a ground-based footsies fighting game?
Here it is.
Here it is. Press that
Press that button to do like 80%. 80% of your opponent's life bar.
It's so good.
Gone.
Carter and I, even in Hyper Fighters, will just spend time crouch blocking, staring at each other.
And it's because of this game.
So, we tend to do that anyway, because we're both pretty defensive. So, like, this game especially just makes those moments so magical, where it's like, if someone fucks up just once, that can be so devastating, you know? It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
Skullgirls,
on the absolute other end,
complete opposite.
Skullgirls. It's so much fun. Like,
The launch party's still going.
Launch Party's still going. It has, weirdly enough, it has my favorite soul bad guy. I really like Annie from this game. She's a lot of fun to play.
Why do you call her a soul bad guy?
Because she's literally, her moves are just soul bad guys.
I mean, she's a Shoto.
No, she has like the bandit bringer and stuff.
Oh god, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, I think the way it does its combos is pretty fun, and like, I think once you get it down, the theory behind the combos is like, it's pretty intuitive, I would say.
I think the only fighting game combo system I like more is probably Killer Instinct.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I can understand someone liking Skullgirls more.
I just haven't played enough Killer Instinct.
KI is a lot simpler in its solutions to infinites, you know? But, I like that simplicity. I like that it's just... It was very pick up and play. You know, you have to spend like 1 minute explaining it to someone, and then you can start playing the game for real. So,
Right,
I know Casey and I both already put VR chat.
Pistol Whip.
Hold on. I know Casey and I both already did it, so we understand why you did it, but I still feel an explanation is owed, because Casey, doesn't it feel like a weird thing to put on your games of all time list?
Yeah, because it's so all over the place.
I mean, like, my explanation is, like, a lot of us live pretty far away from each other now, and it's, like, allowed us to keep up that friendship in a way that I don't know, like, I would have been able to just through text in a way. It, like, I'm someone who it's very weird. It's very, like, hard for me to keep up, like, relationships just digitally. And so having that extra, even if it's just through a monitor, of just, like, having a little hangout space where I can, like, visually, like, see the people I'm hanging out with, it helps me, like, I don't know, feel just a little bit closer to them.
And then when you do put the headset on, it is an even extra step of, like,
Immersion.
yeah.
Yeah.
A very strange phenomenon with this game. I legitimately just see Casey in Kermit the Frog. You know what I mean?
Casey
Like,
is just
that-
Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
That Kermit the Frog avatar is just as much Casey to me as his real life body, you know? Like, okay, not just as much, but you know what I mean? Where it's just... It's seamless. I see that Kermit the Frog avatar, I see Casey's voice coming out, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing weird about it whatsoever. And Josh just is Joseph Joestar to me.
Yeah.
The rest of us kind of vary up our avatars more than them.
I'm still trying to find one that fits me
Yeah.
as well.
I mostly use Travis.
I'm,
and
like,
that
mostly
blonde kid.
Rousey.
Yeah, you do mostly. But you just are Rousey in real life, bro. That one makes sense.
I guess so.
It's funny, because Casey don't even do a Kermit voice. It just
It just fits.
It
him.
just
It
fits.
just fits.
Casey, speak.
No,
See,
I'm letting
it's-
you go.
Aw, come
You
on,
let me go?
Casey. Can't you give me another wolf?
You want me to growl for you?
Yeah, sure.
See, but imagine Kermit's like lips doing the thing.
Yeah. Also, just like
For ya.
that pure, and even going off of the social aspect, just the pure ability to like be in like these user created worlds and like these like new kind of forms for yourself. It's a wonderful experience. I like exploring, especially that like one world, the big world.
I'm thinking organism?
Yeah, organism. Like
Yeah.
experiences like that just are something, they're like, it's hard to even put them in the experiences of video games. They're just something else for me.
There's
I
something beyond that, yeah.
don't even know
They're
beyond,
real.
just a different thing.
Yeah. Like, VR chat, it's weird, I feel weird putting it this way, but I feel it's given me unforgettable experiences.
Yeah.
In ways that, like, it's because of me or my friends that they're unforgettable. you
Right.
know?
Like when we did the Faust train in that public space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Casey and I climbing up the Shadow of the Colossus Tower and being at very real risk of falling off. And when
Yeah,
we
or
finally...
that time that I flossed on the toilet.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like it really is just a platform on its own. And like, you know, I guess I just put it in Don't Judge Me because like I feel like it's very easy to go in like very bad directions with the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
have like especially if you're alone, it's like way too easy to just have some like pretty nasty and horrible experiences.
Mhm.
So I'd say like it's really fun with friends and as a way to just kind of chill out, explore around, maybe like maybe like be friendly with a few other people online, just like if you can find the right places.
If anyone were to watch this video and get this far, and is now like, oh, I want to try VR chat now. Let me just say, like, don't even fuck with popular public spaces.
Yeah, fuck that.
Just don't. Like, it's gonna be as bad as it could be, especially if you're like a woman or something,
Yeah.
or at least have a feminine voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ransom immediately simps for women in
No.
VR chat. You do.
Not at all true.
You 100% do. This is
No.
not a lie. I
You
am
were
not
talking
joking.
about that girl that
You
could
really
burp on
do.
command, and I was fascinated by that.
It's not just her, it's every girl. You change your
It's
whole
not.
demeanor when you meet a girl. You
I
do.
not.
You
maybe
do.
I might change it to be respectful because I know they're probably having a shitty time otherwise. But,
Are they? Because they're on the game.
It could be their first time. It never is, but it could be.
You
Listen,
change your whole
Listen,
personality when you meet a girl on there.
all I was gonna say is one probably really good beginner-friendly way to use VR chat is whatever your favorite game is that you want to like hang out in. Like say Kingdom Hearts, you want to go hang out in Traverse Town.
Right.
Go do that, and you'll be like,
Or
yeah,
my
this is
world.
something else.
Check out my video about my favorite VR chat world.
Casey's God in Church. That's the name of the video.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Pistol Whip, really really fun VR game. It's basically like
It's rhythm shooting.
yeah, it's a rhythm shooter.
You want it makes you feel like John Wick.
Yeah, you're dodging bullets and shooting people to like the time of the music. Like I can't like really say much else. It is just a very much like it's about the feeling the game gives you. And if you can just get into the music and get into like, you know, the shooting, like it really does just make you feel like all powerful and like you are just such a part of the experience of the game. It's probably if not for VR chat, it would probably be like my favorite experience on VR.
Have you done Resident Evil 4 yet?
No, because that only is on Oculus, I think.
Quest 2.
Quest 2.
Specifically.
Yeah. Which I do plan to get eventually.
Alright. So is that a fucking Jackbox?
Yeah. What a
that's
game!
fair.
What a game to end out on. I think this is specifically like Jackbox 3 with like Trivia Murder Party,
Quiplash.
Faking It. Faking It is underrated in my opinion. It
you're
is
right.
a fantastic game.
I don't think anyone's gonna argue with this. I love Jackbox games.
It's just some of the best Jackbox games. I think all the Jackbox games are like, or at least most of them are like really, really fun to play with friends.
in the category of I can get my parents to play this and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, not much else to say about it.
Shout outs to that time my whole family played it, and my mom, who was a very sweet lady, just out of nowhere, one of the answers on Quiplash or whatever was just like fucking cum or something. And it was her, and everyone pogged.
That was a pretty good moment.
You weren't there.
Wait,
From the-
I
from
wasn't.
the
I feel like I
description.
remember that.
This was at my sister's, like, whatever.
Okay. No. Please.
Oh, for God's sake.
Edit that out.
I hate you. Okay, well, that's
Okay.
Carter's tier
Yep.
list. Run through it real quick, make sure nothing's out of order. Or nothing's in the wrong spot.
They're not ordered, stupid.
Yeah, nothing's ordered.
Just make sure everything's in the wrong spot, because that mouse was fucking him up.
Yeah, I think everything is in its proper place. Any comments from you guys?
Air topic needs to be removed.
Of course, I do disagree on one shot, but that's all personal preference thing. So
No, Kane, you need to call me wrong. You need to berate me. You need to make me feel bad about
Use the R
myself.
word. You're the only one who can do it.
Only you can do this, Caden. You are the protagonist.
God damn it.
It's
Alright,
true.
here. Listen, you fucking. One shot peak. I understand. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't understand why it's there. I don't. I truly don't. And that's all I'll say, because I don't know what else to say.
You just can't comprehend
I legitimately
the workings
don't
of a brain
understand.
as small and insignificant as
Oily.
mine.
Like, it's below Bloodborne. But then again, that's just like my personal preference. I would put one shot above Bloodborne any day.
Okay.
I think Shadow of the Colossus, Katana Zero, and Ultra Kill should all be in S tier, and I don't think that's a controversial statement.
I wouldn't say that's like a controversial statement.
And as a matter of fact, just the fact that both of those Sly games are above those that's some nostalgia on your part, bro. Like that, there's no fucking way.
No, they're great.
Okay, no, actually, I
You
have
didn't-
another.
no,
bro,
no,
you have
no.
Kid Icarus
It-
Uprising
it
an
is-
A-. What the fuck is that?
It is time to call you out because I gave you that trilogy and you like didn't get past the first game. You had that trilogy for like 2 or 3 years. You had your chance
It didn't
to
grab
find
me
out.
that much.
You had your chance to find out.
Carter,
Now it's gone.
Carter, why is Kid Icarus Uprising an A-?
Carter, why was one shot at B?
Kid Icarus, like, I don't know, just, I like the combat.
And the writing.
I like the, yeah, but it's like, I don't know if, I guess I did get a little tired of, like, the combat and the level design at some points. I found some parts a little, I guess, frustrating.
Skill issue. Lower the difficulty.
Did you not like Hades?
I literally have every single, well, I literally have most of the FromSoft games on
I
here.
don't know who you're asking, Casey.
I was asking Carter.
Oh, Hades?
Yeah.
The character or the game?
The game, forehead.
The game's great.
What?
I haven't played Hades.
It's so good.
I'm
Oh.
sure. From what I've seen, like from what I've heard about the writing and the characters, it would probably be on this list.
It
if I
is.
played it.
It is very.
It's a very good game. As a Hellenist, of course, I had problems with it, but you know, it's still good energy.
I want to have him watch Hercules for the KH playthrough, but I'm also like, oof. If you got problems with the Hades game, oof.
And it's not because it's like problematic or anything. It's just like, well, this is incorrect.
Yeah.
This just doesn't make sense. But like, other than that, it's a good game. Like I enjoy it. Like I just be listening to my like the gods I follow most, just being like, that's cool. They be renditioning this shit. They be trying to make me communicate with these people, bro.
How do you feel about Zeus being a loving husband and loyal?
Incorrect.
Yeah. How do you feel about Hades being an actual villain?
Also incorrect.
Bro, Hercules is just actually wrong.
I mean,
like, in all
of
ways.
course, they're gonna need like. This is a video in itself, but anyway, why is one shot in B?
He got a real fucking problem with you, but
Yeah.
one shot at me, bro.
Wait, so you've never watched Hercules?
I've never watched Hercules.
It's a really fun movie, but by God, like,
It-
just you need to pretend that it's not even about Greek mythos. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
it
not.
is. It's one of my favorite movies. Like top 50.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is insanely inaccurate.
If you just take it as this is a movie about consumerism instead of like Greek mythos, then you'll probably enjoy it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
keep
like
on
a movie and show tier list, I could do a lot better than I could a game.
Well. I
I've
can
been-
definitely do that.
I've been wanting to do like a Disney movie tier list or something.
Now, Disney is like, you know how many tier lists there's gonna be of Disney movies?
It's not that bad. It's
It's
at
gonna
least
be
an
a
easy
lot.
category. By the way, Carter, I had a tier list idea that I think only I could do it with.
What?
How Disney characters feel about Sora.
Okay, that
Because
would be
that
pretty
is
fun.
that is a varied list. 'Cause
Oh, we
some
should
of them
probably
will die
end the
for
video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm having fun talking to you.
Yeah, but this
boys.
is just a podcast at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the video's already, I don't know, 3 fucking hours long or something.
probably.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
Let me go
ran into a
look. Let me go
lot.
look. Here, excuse me.
Feel free to kind of cut down on some of this.
No. Oh, you have to. It's 2 hours and 33 minutes.
Wow.
So scroll
Yeah.
right.
Huh?
Scroll right. Or left.
What?
Are you trying to direct me to the stop
To
recording?
this screen.
Just the stop recording button?
Yeah.
Did he say scroll right and
Yeah.
left?
Yeah, because he's a fucking retard.
Shut up.
God,
Shut
he's
up.
so stupid.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
You know you love me.
I love you. I don't love being berated.
Retard.
God
He's
damn.
in love with me.
I'm not. Can you press stop recording?
We didn't do an outro.
We don't. The channel has an immaculate outro already. We don't need to do a special.
Bye.